This is the Conscious Radio Network.
Oh, if the opening isn't as spooky, but we're going to get spookier. Good evening, wherever you might be. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network's True Ghost Stories. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Meckes. If this is your first time, please click like, subscribe, comment, share. And also don't forget to follow us for our regular programming wherever you listen to your podcasts. Visitors and the gifts I didn't know. Tonight, joining us, psychic medium Veronica Silva has an interesting story. Veronica, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate
You're very, very welcome. So, psychic medium, where did how did this start for you?
The biggest part, when I was very young, I started seeing lots of activities, and it was spooky, it was scary, and it was confusing because how did I know this? So it was a lot of things happening. Being so sensitive, you're able to pick up things that the normal people would just, overlook.
Yeah.
And you were able to hear voices, see people, experience like different sensation, like just feelings, scared, worry, all of a sudden. But I was living in a farm over in Florida, in the Spring Hill area. And the farm was 4 acres. If nothing was living there beforehand, and we built a little place. And that's when that was the big ones. Now, my grandfather is a medium. He's a psychic as well. So he's a psychic medium. I mean, he can see spirits. He can talk to them. He interacts with them. It's crazy. And he was the one person that I use as a mentor and a guide to help me overcome anything that happens. Like, he'll tell me things like, wait a minute, I did see that. So how do you deal with it? He's like, look at this, make sure it's this way. If it's not, then that's bad. You need to do something about it. So he instructed me. So my grandfather was the very powerful in his right. And then my grandmother, his wife, was more of a psychic. So she was able to predict time, place, situations that would come premonitions, My mother is also a psychic medium. But she was more into the mediumship because she was able to see the physical with her physical eye. She would say, oh my gosh, why is my dad here? Why is he here? Why he's outside standing? Do you not see it to my father? And my father's like, nobody's out there. Who are you talking about? It's my father. He came all the way from Tampa. And he's like, no, I don't see no one. Come to find out, it wasn't even her father. It was her grandfather. She never met him before. It was like, bomb, like, wow, this just happened. For her, it was that way. And it just seemed like it's like a tradition. Like, everybody's just having something. My sister has it too. She's more afraid of it. So she kind of like runs away from it. But she's had her own experiences herself. She just gets scared, I welcomed it. I'm a different soul because it's like, that saying that says, I know how to say it in Spanish. It's just like, te asusta pero te gusta. So that means it scares you, but you like it. So it's like, you want to see, okay, I want to see what's going on here. What's this department? Like, how can I explore more? Because I don't want to be afraid of it, because I was afraid of it for so long. Let's conquer this. So that's how it all began. It was more of a family situation. And then I was just so sensitive. I was seeing stuff, and then I was able to be guided. Yeah.
And for those who are sensitive or intuitive, psychic, medium, I would have to say, so was I. I've always had this sensitivity growing up as far as seeing things, seeing people. Whether I tried to confirm whether they existed or not, I don't know. I'll probably know that. But I never really asked anybody about being the only child, and, I didn't always have somebody. Did you see that? I never really had that confirmation. So I don't know. I guess as we get older, the spook factor seems to be a little bit more prevalent, but then we kind of now then as a medium or a psychic or an intuitive, we kind of have a little bit more discernment on making that decision and making that call going, yep, that's a spirit. But then also, you know, the longer we're in as, you know, within this field, we kind of train ourselves not to be scared, so to speak. So.
Yes, it's like the more you're surrounded by it, the more you are able to get almost familiar with it. And then the more knowledge you acquire, the more you can approach it. That's how I view it. Because for me, like, for example, there is this situation that happened the other time where I used to work in a downtown area where it was known for hanging people back then. So there was a lot of deaths, very much. And it was spooky because at times I would stay late and, you know, the keyboards were just typing. It felt like it was typing. Like you hear the sounds and the monitor screen was just turned on. It was like 8 o'clock at night. No one should be here. And there was no updates at 12 at midnight. So what's going on, you know? I would like try to look at the surveillance to see if like you can actually catch something, you know?
Yeah.
But what happened is that at that one time, you know, and I do feel like what they do too is when you're at your weakest, they do like jump on you and see if they can dig deeper. Now, if you have the ability to kind of jump back and be better in like the will and the strength, they're like, okay, I'm not gonna mess with that. But this one was following me. This entity was following me for a week. And it's, I would say a good, I don't know how you would measure it, like far as a human body, like the length of 5 feet, let's say 5 feet. That's how far it stayed away. How it looked was the most creepiest thing ever because it was dark. It was dark. It had jagged teeth. It had no lips.
Wow.
It was sunken in and it was just watching. It was just standing there. And it was the creepiest thing is when you're sleeping, you know it's there. It's watching you. But for me, I had the strength that you're not going to take me. You're not going to overwhelm me. You know, like it made itself known, but it's like, dude, you can't have power over me. I already know. You know? And it just stayed for a week and they left. Those are the things that happens. They come and visit, see if they can, like almost like a vampire or a leech, how they get on. And if they can't get on, they move on.
Yeah. I get visitors all the time. I mean, some friends that are most commonly, you know, in my home will sense them. Sometimes they're different entities too. It's like a magnet for just random spirits just passing through. It's like, I don't know. It's like, what am I, like a bed and breakfast?
Yeah. It's like a little lantern. You're a lantern in the darkness and the bugs are just coming, you know?
Yeah.
That's how they are. They're just all that. It's crazy. Oh, and speaking of that, because you're so open to it, I was here at my house. This is just current. This is just recent. I was pregnant and one night I heard 4 knocks on the window in my bedroom. 4 knocks. I'm like, oh, that's just me thinking, right? My husband heard it. He heard it. He got up and looked for the gun and looked around, went to the surveillance camera. No one was out there. That's how crazy it was. I was spooked. I was like 4 knocks, not just 1, 4. So that was like repetitive, you know, like that was like, I am determined to get your attention.
Yeah.
And that was the second time that happened. The first time it happened, it was just me hearing it. The second time it was now my husband heard it. So that was the craziest. And he took the gun. Like my husband was a skeptic in the beginning when we first met. And then he started seeing everything I was doing, everything I was telling him came true. And it's like, oh no, now I believe. Yeah, there's nothing I can't say now.
Wow.
He believes. Yeah. Yeah.
What was the, I wouldn't say scariest. What was the most eventful paranormal experience you had that really just shook you to the core and you even maybe still today just get goosebumps just thinking about it?
Well, The biggest event happened, like I think the most happened at the farmhouse that I used to live in, and then afterwards there was another event, but this was the most. I still remember it to this day because it was so creepy. Just imagine when you are in a situation that you're vulnerable. You're in your bathroom, you're showering, right?
Yeah.
You're vulnerable. You're in the shower. I was about maybe like 10 or 11 years old, and we had these conjoined bathroom, which, it goes my bedroom and then my sister's bedroom. It doesn't go to any visitors. It's just our bathroom,
Oh yeah.
you know?
Yeah, the bathroom in between the bedrooms. That
Yes,
way.
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. So what happened was is that I was just showering, and that place was very haunted because I would hear my voice, I would see images, I would see visitors and all this. But this was the most creepiest event that ever happened to me. And was when I looked back, I saw my sister.
Hmm.
Like this, right? She was just smiling. She didn't say a word. She didn't say nothing. She was just looking. And I said, get out, get out. And when I turned around again, because I was, trying to get out, she gone. She
Huh.
disappeared. And I didn't hear no door slam. I didn't see the door open, like, if she left it open. And when I ran out, because I was mad, I was like, why did you come in there?
Yeah.
So I was in the towel, literally running and looking for her. And I found her. She was on the other side of the house, in my mom's bathroom with her, doing whatever woman, like, hair stuff.
Wow.
She wasn't even near. It was just the craziest part.
Wow. That's similar to what one of my experiences many, many years ago.
Yeah.
Crap, I think I was maybe only 12, 13 years old.
No, almost like,
Yeah. It was in the Orlando area, Orlando Pine Hills area. Fairly
okay.
decent sized house, one story, around bedtime, in the bathroom, the most vulnerable spot. But I believe I was closed. I think I was getting ready to brush my teeth or something,
Okay.
and the door to the bathroom's closed, and I hear a knock. Actually, no, I hear a knock on the window next to the bathtub. And thinking that my mom was outside taking the dog for a walk, and I'm thinking, okay. So I open up the window. I'm looking outside. Mom, where? I don't see anybody. There's nobody. Okay. Thinking it was a trick. Close the window. And then I hear a knock at the door. I was like, I'll be right out. Well, just seconds later, I open up the door. Nobody there. No one's standing there. Nobody even answered when I said anything. My dad's laying on a couch, sleep. He's out, gone, just sleeping, dead sleep. No pun intended. And I'm finishing up. I go across to the house, and my mom's asleep.
Yeah.
Who was that?
Exactly. Just like a knock on my window. Ooh, they just trying to get your attention.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that was the freakiest thing that I've ever experienced when my sister was like all of a sudden there. Like I didn't hear no movement, no nothing. She was just there, and then she was just smiling. No words, no nothing. It took the apparition of my sister, the look of my sister and everything.
Yeah.
Now that just freaked me out.
There are said to be entities out there, not necessarily evil, mischievous.
Mm-hmm.
Mischievous entities, spirits. Could be jinn. It could be, I took a whole assortment of them and stuff. That, through legends and stuff, that can make themselves appear to be something or someone familiar to us and just play tricks on us. Just, appear to be someone that we're familiar, a family member or whatnot, and just play practical jokes, so to speak.
Yeah, just get a good laugh for them.
Yeah.
For them.
I've always thought too, and through some research too, and some historical cases, that these entities also Malevolent, not necessarily, but mischievous. Can also be the minions of the ones that are really mischievous, really dark. But those are the ones that are creating the fear in us and make us fearful.
Yes,
Once
it's
we
like
get
building
that,
us up.
once they build that fear up, now we're vulnerable in order for the other entities to come in to take over. What's your thought about that?
I definitely know that they do try to put fear in you, and when they put fear in you, then you become almost like a host to them. Like they can do whatever they want. I've had scenarios where when I was, well, I mean, there's so many occasions that, let me just start with the farmhouse. I was exercising, just doing some sit-ups, whatever, and all of a sudden I get this creepy. You know, when you get so scared and your blood just rises, it's just like that. The hair rises, and it's like you feel like petrified in a way. That feeling like that had overwhelmed me in a split of a second, and I'm like, wow, something's here.
Yeah.
I was like, hell no, I'm not sleeping by myself. So, and it was at night. It was about like 9 or 10. It wasn't even that late. And I went to sleep with my sister that night. And there was another situation when I was living in another place, not too far from it. And they would like, now this one had a lot of activities. There was like even jiggling the doors, flickering the lights, the footsteps, things falling off the shelves. It was just the smelling of people. When you smell people, it was so crazy. And now when I would sometimes sleep with the radio and on with some music. But the crazy part is when I was laying down, I would hear it, but when I stood up, like, oh, gotta go turn it off, it was off. So it's like that, almost like different reality of some sort. And then, guy. So it was just so many things that were trying to eat at you. Yes, and it caused me personally to become angrier when I allowed it. Does that make sense? It's like you get in a more darker place mentally, and you just don't. You feel like you're in a cage.
Yeah.
When I had to step away, around 20 years old, I was able to leave my house and just kind of put myself out of that situation. I still hung with that thing, and that thing was so prominent one time that I woke up, and it was like okay, I woke up one time on my side like this, and I saw an image of a woman with black hair, and it was gruesome.
Yeah.
Now, but the problem with that was my body, or my mind, thought it was so horrific. It put like a black circle around its face, like it was blocking that.
Huh.
Yes. And so, I mean, I would hear voices, I would hear kids jumping on the furnitures and everything, but I was still not in a good place. Once I finally got on my own by myself, because I was living with my ex-husband that time. When I was living by my own, I was able to find this peace within me. And when I finally found this peace, I found a will, I found courage, and I found strength. And when I finally found all that, it was like a big igloo of protection.
Yeah.
Nothing was able to penetrate. And then I was able to decipher which was not me and which was that. An entity trying to toy with me.
Huh.
Yeah. So it is, when you see a lot of activity, you have to be aware. Are you being manipulated a little bit? Because that's the big thing, because like they don't speak like we do. Spirits do not speak. Spirits telepathically speaks to you. And how do they do that? Well, they have to read your mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they already know what's going on in you. And these bad spirits, they tend to depict what is scary and become that image.
Mm.
So if you overcome that scariness or that image, they don't have any like strength over you or power over you.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you one story. I had a demon that came to me once because somebody sent it to me. I'm not going to say who, but somebody sent it to me. I was able to see clear as day. And it was a swine.
Huh.
Pink skin, face like a pig. It looked like it was sweating, and it had like chunks of stuff on it. It was just disgusting looking. That's how it was, and it smelled like garbage. We could not find the source everywhere. My husband even smelled it. We went all through the house. The garbage was sent. Oh, I got goosebumps. The garbage was taken out. We looked under everything that could possibly hold anything. Nothing could find the source of the garbage, right? So what happened was, oh my gosh, I know what I'm going with, but what was the tale?
The smell of trash, garbage, waste.
What was the other story before then? Oh, it was them taking over you. Okay.
Yeah.
Right? So this smell of garbage, this thing came over and it was trying. I was able now to decipher because I already had that power to see the difference, discernment.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing came, right? And I was able to decipher that was something bad that would just cannot be. And I wasn't so scared of it because I knew what it was. And that's just one story of that kind. But besides that, because that was the creepiest one, I was able to get rid of it and I banished it. I relocated it. You can't take away energy, you just have to move the energy. That's unfortunate. You can't just you're gone. You got to change the energy in some way or move it in a different location.
Yeah.
Now, when I was laying down, I closed my eyes and a face came up to me. A woman with a ponytail, and it was sandy, brownish, more darker. And she came up to me and I was scared, and she fed on that. She got closer and closer. And then I was like, wait a minute. So I started opening warmth. I started getting almost like the chakra, the heart chakra. I just started bringing love out, right? And so I did that and it disappeared.
Huh.
It got afraid of it. It vanished completely. So that's what I use even today when I banish things. Love is their fear because then they have to see what they have become.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to accept it. They want to continue the misery. Now, the banishment of this demon beforehand was helped or assisted by my grandfather. My grandfather helped to take care of it. And that's what I'm telling you, when my grandfather would help me with mentoring and such. Once you know how to deal with these things, you know how to overcome it, and you don't allow the fear to overtake you to become their pawn.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a hat man? I'm sorry.
Yes. Hat man.
I had banished one of those.
Really?
And it's, yes, it was stuck on a friend of mine that had closed the vortex and got rid of an ancient entity that was haunting the house of her friend up north. So I told her, I instructed, because she's psychic as well, but I get information from the spirits how to do things. I have my grandfather still with me telling me how to do things. So I told her to do certain things. She got rid of it, but she did one flaw. She did not protect herself.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she got something, and it was watching her from afar, and it just grabbed on. I was able to tell her the whole details, what it looked like, and she says, yep, that's what it is. And we banished it. And it's like it almost got attached to one little thing in her, one security. And then how we knew it was so powerful too is because it was showing itself to the kids, her kids, her husband.
Wow.
Yeah. So we got rid of it though.
Now, have you done any investigative work or helping clients
I would
with
say
paranormal activity?
I would say more so helping clients. I did do some investigation. There's just one time it was spooky, and I don't know if I really wanted to expose myself to things that can't possibly come on me. So that's why I do the banishment, to help people. I'm trying to heal them from all this thing. So there's this one time we went to Savannah, Georgia, and we did an investigation, and we first went with a group just to kind of know the hot spots,
Yeah.
And then we found this one place where this demon came in, and it was just this house that was being built in the process, and and it took a form, or it possessed a child, and it made the child fall down into a spike and hit.
Oh.
And I literally felt pushed away from it. Like, I don't know if it's my guardians, but they were pushing me away so they wouldn't get close to it.
Huh.
But I was able to see the image of the boy.
Yeah.
And he was on the roof looking down on us.
Whoa.
He was smiling at everybody, like as if everybody was ignorant. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Wow.
Play with fire. How come?
Yeah.
But yeah. And it's been reported that that place was, people would die. A lot of people would die in there.
Huh.
Family members, close relatives, even people who worked on that house. Yeah. So it was super, super creepy, but like super like malicious. Like, it had a lot of darkness towards it. So that was the creepiest. Now I would have a lot of experiences with the paranormal that I didn't really have to look for them because they came to me, you know?
Yeah.
So it was a lot of situation with that. When at one point at one of my houses, I was like, since I already have activities in my house, I looked into that. You know, I tried to see the source. I even meditated just to pinpoint, who are you, right? So this one house, there's this man that would do this, like just staring at you like this, through the mirror.
Oh,
While I
wow.
was sleeping. Yeah. I hated the mirrors in my room. And it was one of those closets that had the doors were the mirror.
Yeah.
How about those apples?
Ooh.
Yeah. So that was facing me all night. And then there was a situation. So with that, I never were able to come over that because I found out later an old man did die in my room. The previous owner died in the room that I chose to live in, to be in. And that was the man. So he was just haunting. He was very territorial.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah. And then when I went to visit my parents at the same house, after a while out of there, I slept in my sister's room, not my room. Maybe there's a difference, right? No. As I was laying there, I heard the doorknob jiggling. It was jiggling because somebody was trying to open. I locked it. I don't know why I felt the need to lock it. I locked it. It was jiggling. And okay, so I went into my abilities to see through my third eye what was going on. And it was a cloaked figure. I could not see its face. It was cloaked. And he was trying to seek entrance into my room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, I prayed and I pushed it away. And at the end, I don't know how long I prayed. I probably prayed for like 30, 40 minutes. But it finally gave up and turned around and walked away. I literally was seeing all this through my third eye, seeing it walk away. And it stopped the jiggling. I mean, it jiggled that door knob.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And
especially like those really old doorknobs that just have a lot of play in them, and you're like, it's like,
yeah, yeah. It's like, dude, we know you want entrance. You're not gonna have it.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest. That was one of the big ones. Oh my gosh, I would hear voices. Like, I was just a magnet to these entities, and I didn't have to investigate because they were doing it to me. When I was doing a spiritual class, like a mentor so I can develop back then, we would do EVPs, we would try to investigate, we were trying to do things. Of course, nothing came at that point, you know, but we were able to, like, I don't know, I felt like I was able to see it more so my third eye, and people were able to validate all I saw, like people's dead relatives or this. They're all just validated all, but we just couldn't catch it, you know? It's like this, it's like a, was it sound bar or soundbox, you know, when they
for picking up using like the radio, the hacked radio type thing, where
yeah,
they can
something like,
talk through the radio.
yes, they
Yeah,
were using that.
like the ghost box, the hacked
Yes,
radio.
yes.
Yeah, where the radio just completely goes through all the channels and stuff, and it
Mm-hmm.
picks the certain frequencies, and as it's going through the frequencies really quick, what it's doing is it's capturing whatever frequencies they're able to actually use for communication. The utterances happen on those frequencies, but because it's so, you remember those little flip books where you
Mm-hmm.
you draw a picture and then you flip the page and you draw the same picture, and it's like those old fashioned animation type flip books. It's similar to that.
Mm.
What it on one page is basically it operates like that as the radio's going continuously flipping through all the frequencies through time. It's trying to capture those frequencies at every cycle,
That's
and
interesting.
as it's doing it, you're going to hear a particular utterance, an
Mm-hmm.
answer to something like yes or no or get out.
Or a name.
Or a name, yeah.
Oh yeah. And then we had the ones with the dots. You put like a light in front of a wall, and there's
Mm.
dots everywhere.
Oh
And
yeah, the laser field or something like that.
yes, we were
Yeah.
using that too to get them to go in that, and then also, of course, the EVPs, trying to find out if they were near or far. But I had another person that was there. He was like, "Let me get into all this investigation." He had all the equipment. That's what he
Mhm.
was bringing. That was his equipment he was bringing. It was so cool. But yeah, that's one of the big ones that we did for investigations. But be, besides that, I would get situations where, when you have blinds and all of a sudden something goes through it.
Mm,
Yeah, that happened recently to me.
yeah.
That happened just recently.
Huh.
I have to look for it. They find me.
Yep.
Um, but there was this one time I actually got saved by a ghost.
Mm.
Yes. So I was driving down a dark, it was like a back neighborhood. I was coming from the east to the west to Tampa side, and I was just going to the back road instead of going to the highway. And it was super dark. There wasn't much light. And I was like, why am I not seeing anything? I just feel like I'm going endlessly. There's no
Yeah.
stop sign, there's no lights, nothing. And all of a sudden I heard a scream. Stop. Like a
Whoa.
scream. Stop. I was like, okay. I put the brakes. Like I pulled the brakes. I would have hit a semi truck right there.
Whoa.
Yes. Can you imagine that? Yes. I was like, oh, God, breathe a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was another time that I was even younger than that. I was like probably 22, 21 when that happened. But before then, I had another scenario where my mom, she did a lot of old time things. So she went to the place to pay the mortgage. So it would take 30 minutes to go, right? So she didn't want to go by herself. She asked me, Veronica, would you like to come with me? I was like, sure, why not? I didn't feel, why should I not say no, right? And then so all the kids started showing up in the neighborhood on my thing, right? She comes to me again as I was between the house and a tree that had the swing set, and the kids were there. And I looked at the driveway towards the road, and she comes and asks me, Veronica, would you like to go with me? I just want to confirm. And I looked at her, the driveway, and I looked at the kids, and all of a sudden I felt someone was pushing me, pushing my head.
Yeah.
I said, kids. So I was like, no, Mom, I don't want to go. I want to be with the kids, right? It's just that weird sensation
Hmm.
that I had. Come to find out, my mom went with my grandfather as company and got in a horrific accident. Horrific. The car tumbled over 3 times, sideways, forward, everything. The roof of the truck caved in, and the gas was leaking because the truck was upside down.
Whoa.
They had to do the iron, that opened the door,
Oh, yeah, Jaws of Life thing.
jaws of life, and she was helicoptered to the hospital.
Wow.
Staples, stitches, braced, everything. It could have gone worse because the thing was it caved right in the middle of the drive, the driver,
Yeah.
but somehow something pushed her head sideways. So it would came right in here, right in here.
What? Eee. And if you would have went, I would assume you would have probably been possibly in a portion of the vehicle where you may not have survived.
I was small. I was like really small. I was a child still, and
Oof.
compared to that horrific accident, I would probably be dead or
Wow.
in a worse condition. Yeah. So those are the signs where like the spirits will get involved if it's not your time, or if they
Mhm.
just like, no, you can't do that, right? Remember I was telling you about that house that had that old man that passed away in my room?
Yeah.
Well, the same sensation of fear and something coming, like the footsteps, the clattering. I was hearing all this in my room as I was laying down in the early mornings.
Huh.
And nobody was in the house. And a woman's voice goes and says to me, "It's okay."
Wow. Huh.
Okay, now here's another freaky one. I was about 6 or 7 in Miami with a relative, and I was staying in her house. And early in the morning, my cousin left the room. She attended her little brother, and all of a sudden I heard these words: "You belong to me." That freaked me out, and I knew later on that my cousin, her mom, did Santeria.
Santeria, yeah.
And they had a room that was always locked. They would sacrifice chickens and stuff, and they would do rituals. Yeah. So I was like, oh shit. Did I get a obsessor? Did I get a spirit that's now thinking that they love me or care or want to be with me or like just suppress me? I don't know. But just to hear those words, "You belong to me," was what I heard clear as daylight.
Wonder if they were misusing the craft too, because I'm familiar with it, and I know quite a few babalaos that some priests and stuff like that are priests within that culture, and it's like there's good ones and there's bad ones. It's like any craft. If somebody takes advantage of it in the wrong way,
Yeah.
because traditionally it's the oldest, one of the oldest religions in the world. It's over 8,000 years old, and but it's like it's such a loving, good type culture, really. But it's the mysticism of it that we are more familiar with it. But yeah, I've seen the bad. I've seen it used for bad, and I've seen it used for what it was originally intended for.
Yeah.
So maybe they probably
Yeah. I don't
they
think
dabbled into it and started using it and started casting spells on people.
it's true. Yes, I believe so because I feel the sense of selfishness. The use of the Santeria that they were doing was more for selfish reasons.
Yeah.
And that always turns around, man.
I've seen instant karma happen when people use it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Till this day on, I still don't recall what was that. Oh,
Yeah.
and I don't know, like every time I'm talking, like more stuff come. Like, when you're going throughout life, these little ones just kind of go back to the back, and then you're not bringing it forward. Not all of it just coming, all the information. There's one time I went on a date with someone at somewhere in Tampa at we went to the movie theater, and in the movie theater, it was during like probably at 12 or 11, so nobody hardly was there. It's early. Usually they go at the evening time. So I went to this movie, and it was just him and I. And we're like, oh, no one's here. He was saying that. And I was like, I looked behind me. No, there's one person right there. I just saw the silhouette of a person. He looks back and says, I don't see no one. No one's there. I looked back. Nope. He was gone. Wow. I saw the silhouette of a person. I did not see their features. So it must have been a shadow person.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the strangest of all places to see some entity just sitting there like they're waiting. I like, ticket, please.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had requests from ghosts too. I had requests from them. This one woman came to me and she told me, I want a coconut. Why do you want a coconut? I didn't answer. I want a coconut. So I gave her one. And next day it got moldy. It was just for that. It was just for her to satisfy. She left afterwards. These ghosts have, or spirits have, these strange interests. It's like one thing they want is maybe a memory of what they used to do in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coconuts are often used too as certain offerings.
Oh,
in
really?
a lot of cultures. I think the Southern Caribbean, Santeria,
Caribbean.
Korea,
My family's
and I
Cuban.
think in Hawaii, I forget the Polynesian, the Southern Pacific, are coconuts. When you cut them in half, they're used as bowls and stuff. But it's used in certain items for offerings and stuff. So maybe they were like, "Hey, I want a coconut."
and vodka too. Vodka. Have you
Yes.
heard of the scenario of to cleanse someone with vodka?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the
Yeah.
spirits told me to use to banish this hat man.
Yeah. Yeah. The clear, yeah, the vodka, and sometimes too in the Caribbean it's the clear rum. The really clear rum. But yeah, tobacco.
Ah, yeah.
Natural tobacco, not that crap that they sell in the stores everywhere. But
Yeah, my family is Cuban, so they are always with the tobacco, and they have all these information with the Caribbeans.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And my grandfather was the one who told me to put the coconut to get the demon out.
Oh, okay.
So you put a little honey next to the coconut so it can come, and once after 24 hours, you remove it completely off the premises.
Huh.
And it was gone the next day.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Because I haven't done it for a while, but I work with a lot of Native American spirits. And that's normally what they'll do. They'll let me know when it's ready. If they want something, they'll let me know. I'll hear knocks around the house when I live alone. So if I hear knocks or hear talking or whispering or whatever, I know they're getting my attention for something. So normally it'll be like either a combination of the four of the tobacco, the sweet grass, the sage. There's another one. I forgot what the fourth one was. Cedar. I think it's cedar. And then burning them in all the four cardinal directions and stuff. And then doing a blessing, and then doing an offering of, normally I think it's rum. But sometimes depending on the spirits and stuff, it's usually a whiskey.
Okay.
Some sort of it's a spirit. Pun intended, yet no pun intended, because that's why it's called spirit. And then, burning the candle, you got to, burn the candle and let it just burn down and stuff. But yeah, normally hasn't happened in a while. So I guess they don't need anything yet. But as the summer moves forward, we'll probably get more activity and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Especially if there's going to be storms. I'll know if we're going to get a storm here in Florida, because they'll let me know ahead of time.
Oh, wow. Did they tell you what type of storm it is? Or how severe it is?
I won't usually get kind of like before. I mean, it's kind of hard with the weathermen. I don't even think the weathermen can really predict the weather anymore. But we'll definitely know if there's going to be a hurricane and stuff. I'm surprised there's nothing in the Southern Caribbean yet. But if there is one on the way, as it usually about a week or two out, they'll let me know, going, prepare for this one. And then I'll do some offerings in order for them to help protect the property. Nice. This is creepy. Actually, no. Well, it might be. The Indian the Indian spirit that I work with, that actually dwells on the property where I'm at. He was like, he's like, dude, you need to cut your trees. Cut your trees. You just cut your trees. When they say do it, you better do it. And sure enough, less than a week later, we got hit with Hurricane Ian.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
But do you see how cryptic they are? Just cut it. No explanation behind it. No context.
Yeah.
Just do it. That's what they do all
Just
the
do
time. It's
it.
like, just do it. Okay, follow, trust the situation, trust the process.
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
segues into the question, your thoughts and your ideas on when we get these signals, when we hear something, feel something, it doesn't matter what people call it, intuition, the voice, that we need to listen. We need to pay attention to these things.
You can save your life.
Mm-hmm.
You can very well save your life if you listen to it, or save you in a very sticky situation. It has saved me a couple of times already. And I think also, like, some people may not be so sensitive enough to actually hear it, but just to feel it. It's like, that gut feeling. If your body is like vibrating to the frequency of like, I got to do this, do it.
Yeah.
Like, if you have two choices, or if they got an opportunity was presented to you, or if all of a sudden you have a sense of feeling that something bad's going to happen, like, just feel it, just go it, because it's like the spirits, the ghosts, they speak to your spirit. It's your job to be sensitive enough to bring it into the 3D realm, the physical realm. So I do know, it's fact that your conscious and your unconscious sometimes go separate. Your unconscious is your spirit, basically, and your knowledge of all stuff in the reincarnations of all living stuff. And then you have your conscious, which is your thinker, your earthly, fleshly being thinker, Now, what happens is sometimes they're conflicting with each other. This one is telling you, hey, do this because it's going to save your ass. Or also, they're the one who speak to spirit. So spirit is telling me, do this, let's do it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it's so subtle that normally people don't pay attention to it, because it could be a thought. It could be a general thought, because we all have this inner dialogue going on, and that's always, we can't shut the brain off. We always have this inner dialogue going on. It could be this just general thought, like staying out there. And I may not even be in the backyard, but something goes, you need to cut the trees. Why should I cut the trees? People don't question themselves. We don't question our thoughts. We just go, okay, whatever, and just keep on going.
People think that your mind is just running completely without no thought. Like, it's just always running. But in reality, first of all, you got to think about your stress situation. But like, if you're meditating, like when I meditate and I allow my mind just to go, it's like free falling. You have to free fall. You have to let it go. If your mind wants to think about one thing, let it think about it. Then it moves on.
Yeah.
And now you're giving your mind free to receive the messages. So I do psychic readings, I do mediumships, and I'm able to describe the person as is, because it's such it moves as if I fall back in a way, like I just let go of myself and just go forward through what their energy is. And I'm able to describe face features, habits, color of the hair, color of the eyes, everything. Like, whatever they want to show me, I show them in details. And then I tell them what type of person they are. And the person validates it all. So it's like, these images of these spirits, or these spirits come forward. It's just sometimes you have all this junk in front of you that you didn't allow yourself to wash away. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's you gotta let it go. You can't be in control.
That's
we
why
think we are.
Yeah, that's why meditation is so awesome. When you start to master meditation, because a lot of people go, I don't know how to meditate. I'm like, well, first thing, and even in mediumship, it's pretty much the same thing. It's like, you got to learn how to step away from yourself. Step away from all this theater that's going on around you, and just focus in on your breath, and just focus, and forget to think. Don't think. Just do.
Yep.
And
if you feel like your head is just going crazy because you have so much stuff, like some people have busy mind, just let it run its course. Okay, acknowledge it for a minute. Oh, sweet. Next one, sweet. Okay, you're done. There's no more. Now you're empty.
And then when something straggles behind, like this weird just thought that you just can't let go, then you just stop and go, okay, why? You just ask the question, why? Why are you here? What is this? What does this mean? And you'll get an answer.
Yes.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Oh,
Either, and in just different forms of it too. You can get the impression, you can get a visual, you get words sent to you.
mm,
They choose to talk to you how they want to express themselves.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes there's this one time I was driving with my ex-husband, and he's an ex for a reason, and I didn't understand what the situation was, and then somebody gave me just one word, what it was. And I had to look it up.
Yeah.
I had to look it up. It was crazy, and it was that. So those
Wow.
are the things, yeah. So you have to like really be open to whatever information you're getting could be possible the message from your spirit. Like I can have people, spirits moving my curtains, or playing with my 2-year-old's toys. They had done that. They played with it. They'll move things. You'd be like, oh, that's just my dad. No, it's this, and I know what it was. I have another child running around here, a spirit child.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I have a spirit child that's running around in this household right now. Yeah. I don't know if it's because my son is picking, like inviting, or it's just because my son is a child. It's a
Yeah.
rarity.
Huh. And that's crazy too. I mean, it's spooky when I even talk about this because it happened. It happened last year,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it just happened now. Which is why I'm
Ooh.
confirming online to make sure Amazon just didn't drop something off because, yeah, they did. Okay, false alarm. But last year I was doing, because I have earbuds in as a monitor, and everything goes through this mixing board. So when it comes to hearing everything outside of the studio, it doesn't necessarily. It's very muted.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear like a thump or something happening in the house, I go, "What the hell is that? What?" But last
Mm-hmm.
year I had a show and I wasn't even recording yet. I was getting ready to do the show, and I heard something speak through the microphone here in the studio trying to get my attention. And I'm like, what the hell was that?
Oh, that would have been nice if
Like,
you had gotten it on record.
whoa. Yeah. And I did have a show where the guest that was on, this is on the normal programming for the seance, and the entire broadcast was an EVP. Every time she spoke, the guest spoke, you can hear the EVP coming through her microphone, her end. It was like this just weird EVP. Every time she spoke, the EVP would continue on. It's like I just didn't have the time to download all of it. I mean, I do have the download. I do have the audio of it, but I've never had the time to just throw it into a mixer and break it all up and put it all together to see what it was actually saying.
Ooh, that would have been
I
nice. Like
I
it was
left it.
responding to her.
Yeah, exactly. And I left it to her paranormal. I left it to their or anybody else's paranormal group to go, hey, we'll try to decipher it. So,
That's awesome.
yeah. So before we wrap up the show, do you have any type of like, and also being a psychic medium, do you have any takeaways before we close?
Yes. My suggestion is do not fear anything that surrounds you, even if it's physical, if they show themselves, if they move something. Don't fear it, because you have more capability to overcome that, because even though they're trying to instill fear in you, you have the ability to push back,
Mm,
and you're able to take care of yourself and protect yourself, and you're also able to see why. Sometimes these spirits just want communications. Now, if you're ready for it, then go ahead and try it, but always protect. One number thing, always protect. And the best way I would suggest is not only praying to encase yourself in white light and, calling upon your protectors that you have, but also open the heart.
mm, yeah,
This warm, but this warm love, just push it all out so you can have a good experience.
yeah. Absolutely.
You don't get also attacked or
Yeah.
get little leeches on you.
Yeah, Klingons.
Yes. Yes. So be careful. Anything is possible, but protect yourself always.
Anything. Yeah, anything is possible.
Even reality too.
Yeah.
Reality.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. And I believe we do have one of our shows too for True Ghost Stories this year is Archbishop Ron Enright, which is an exorcist with the Catholic priest. So of the Catholic Church, the real exorcist.
Wow.
So that's going to be some interesting stories right there, man. That's creepy. When it comes to perception and reality, when you said reality, there's certain things that he talks about when it comes to reality. It's like reality just goes right out the window. You don't know what's real. You can't trust your own. You can't trust your eyesight. You can't trust anything. It's all gone. That's how much power these demons can put on you. So we'll have your contact information in the show notes. So if anybody is out there that can seek your assistance and help and reach out to you and stuff like that, if they have some paranormal stuff going on,
yeah,
I might be able to help.
Yeah, and then for every person that I take care of as a client, or just even if I'm just talking to help them, spirits always come, and like I always have an army of people, of spirits to help me help that person. So if there's a cleansing or if there's spiritual guidance or anything like that, they will tell me, okay, do this. Just like how they told me to do the vodka on that tap me. Just like they tell me during different things. Everybody, it's like a patient. Everybody has their own situation they need to take care of. Not every situation is the same.
Yeah. Veronica, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. Even though this is ahead of time, but happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you too. A lot of adventures. Hopefully we get more experiences too coming our way since Halloween's coming up.
Yeah. This is the second year doing the show, this series and stuff. So yeah. Keep it consistent. And then people will start to notice. Mm-hmm. So you might noticing the paranormal activity that might be going on around you. Stay tuned to this show, and 5 broadcasts through the month until the night of October. The scariest is on October night, or not October night, Halloween night. So every Thursday of the month until the night of October, and we do pick the scariest, the most spookiest and scariest to be broadcasted on Halloween night. So
that'd be nice.
We shall see.
Awesome. Oh gosh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah. Veronica, once again, namaste. Blessings, my friend.
Thank you. Namaste.
Stay in touch and let me know. I haven't been out to any psychic fairs lately, but I intend on doing something before the end of the year. Definitely. Mm-hmm. Especially October.
Yeah. All righty then. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You take care. Thank you, everybody, for watching True Ghost Stories. We will see you next time.